Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and I have a little bit of disappointing news for Partially Applied, though it's not entirely unexpected. But I was looking at handling more cases for methods and what could be done. I had some, how should I say this? Trepidation? Is that the right word? Hesitancy that this would, that's not the right word either. I didn't think this was going to work. There was at least some part in the back of my head that was going, this isn't going to work. Because how do you do partial function application on parameters that have to be outs or refs? I felt there were going to be some cases that were going to kick in that just weren't going to let this happen. And as I found out, that was true. So the long story short is that I can't do refs, outs, ints, ref read onlys, ref outs for the return. Maybe that might be doable. I might have to check on that. I think I could actually do that. I think that's the arguments that are problematic. So we might be able to do that. And then we just have to do ref out or ref read only out or whatever that is. But we can do this with the parameters. And ref structs like span of t are interesting because they sort of work. It depends on where they are. And what do I mean by this? So if you look at something like, let me change this. I was doing my typical, and this is what's nice about source generators. Again, is that it's not like I'm doing IL generation or anything like that. I can write the code that I think I want to write in a source generator, and then it's just a matter of getting the source generator to write what I want to. So if I say here new, and this is also something I'm going to change in code, which is you can do new instead of doing new func. You can just do new, and that works because C#. Well, no, I can't. As weird as there's the source generator feature is supposedly for C#, but it's not necessarily C#9. Well, okay, here's the interesting thing. I could do it because that's the generated code. And as long as you're in C#9, you're fine. You arguably could generate code that would be targeting just, C#5 or whatever, I guess. But anyway, I'll do this. So what's the case here? Where is the casing? The casing of the stuff. Why, what am I doing? Where am I going? So you can do span last. That's right. Span first. So if your ref struct is in the list of arguments that you want to capture for partial function application, you can't do it. It doesn't work. Okay. So if I said here, new, where I wanted to return, yes. I wanted to put in and I call method, which is taking a span of the buffer, and you should see, it barks, and it gives you, I think, 16. Cannot use ref out or in parameter buffer. So it doesn't, the message is not clear really to me, but the point is you can't do it. Whereas if you look at something where you're doing target one delegate, which the span is on the right, then this works because B is a span and it allows this because that's what you're passing in. So that works for some reason. Okay, so I have to put these restrictions into place of saying that kind of thing. But while I'm here, I'm going to check this public static. Yeah, now I have to do a private read-only int value. Okay. Then we're going to have a public static ref. You could say ref read-only here too, I guess, but we'll just say ref. Use ref return. And we have to say int here. Okay, and then we'll have int a string b. Doesn't matter. We just need two, and then we're going to say ref targets dot value. Oh yeah, that needs to be a static. Okay, and then we do value, and it doesn't like that. A static read-only field cannot be returned by writable references. Okay, well, fine. Public class instance targets. And then we're going to do this, that, private, read-only, int, value equals default. And then we're going to say this. Okay, now what are you barking at? A read, oh. Okay, that wouldn't have mattered up here. Oh, it did. Okay, I wasn't reading the message. Okay. Fair enough. So what we want to create here now is a public delegate ref int target 20 delegate, where we're taking an int a and a string b. That's fine. Then we want a public delegate ref int apply 21 delegate. I'll explain that numbering in a second. Int a. The reason why I'm doing the numbering here is one of the things that I'm going to do when I create delegates for methods that have more than 16 parameters, or in the case where I'm doing spans or I'm doing a ref return, is because that I need to create unique delegates for that. And I said, well, instead of trying to get the hash code of the string and blah, 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 I'm going to try to just use a static int field and use interlock interchange or interlock exchange. No, interlock increment, and just do that. It's going to be rare that I need to do something like that. It does rely a little bit upon the lifetime of the whole assembly being loaded. But I think once you load it, it can't be unloaded. So that should be fine. So, and then I don't have to worry about trying to generate unique values. Anyway, okay, so what we want to do here now is we want to say public static apply 21 delegate apply target. And honestly, you could use the same number for both of them. I mean, because we're going to have the, yeah, method, and then we do an int a. And then we say return, no, we say new, where we need to pass in, no, apply needs a string. I'm being stupid. String B, okay. So we need a B, which is going to be method of A and B. And you don't like that. By value returns may only be used in methods that return by value. Wait, that okay? Really? That's an interesting. So you can't. Oh, that works. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was like, the error kind of made sense because it was kind of saying that you need to return by ref. Okay, so then to test this, we're just going to say var value equals 0. And then we're going to var ref partially apply on targets, use ref return, passing in, doesn't matter, 3, because those don't matter. And then we're going to say ref value is no, equal to ref partial b, because that doesn't matter. And now what are we parking at? A namespace cannot directly contain members such as fields. So now what? Ref local. This is interesting. The left-hand side of a ref assignment must be ref local or parameter. Whatever. Okay. So now we say console out right line value. And now we're going to say, because the first time we get it, it should be 0. But I'm going to say value is equal to 3. Okay. And now we're going to do this again. Okay. And now we're going to print it out again. And what we should see here is a 3. So the last two should be a 0 and a 3. If this works the way I expect it to. Oh yeah, there's errors. There's always errors. Okay, because I was testing some stuff up before. Oh my God, what now? Yeah, you know what? We're just going to comment all this out. That's fine. And what do we see? 0 and 3. So that works exactly the way I would expect it to. So the returns are okay. We can actually do that with delegates. We can support that. But we can't do, you could not do that with function actions. So that is one little bit of a gain. So we can do methods where the return value, if it's a ref, that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. And we just need to put in cases where, like I say here, if the ref struct parameter isn't being partially applied. No, wait a minute. That's wrong. I think. If I had to pause there for a second because I was a little confused. Yeah, if it isn't being partially applied, this is because it's one of the parameters that's being partially applied. So I need to is being partially applied. Is being partially applied. That's really poorly worded, but I know. So yeah, if the ref struct parameter is being partially applied, or it's a ref. Yeah, that's really poorly worded. It's still not worded well, but if oh God. If I can only do ref struct parameter if the ref struct parameter is not being partially applied. If the parameter is a ref out, that simply won't work. Okay, there we go. So I need to create a check in the information thing that if you're giving me a function that has any parameters that a ref out int, ref out in, can't do that. If you give me a function where a ref struct is being partially applied, that doesn't work. Okay. And then I can do the case where the ref struct is on the right, not one of the partially applied parameters, or you're giving me a ref return, or you're giving me more than 16 arguments. Then I have to create a delegate for that. So those are really the big two things I got to do left. There's some other things here too. like documentation, different member names with an additional file, support the non-standard functions. That's just what I talked about. Optional values I haven't looked at yet, and open generics I haven't looked at yet. So those may be somewhat bigger, but yeah. Okay, so this is, what is this? Number 7. Okay, so I'm going to come into partially applied here. And let's see, do we have anything that we need to commit? Yeah. Note updates. That's fine. Those are just note updates. And we're going to 7, add diagnostics. Okay. So we're going to create a new batch, 7, add diagnostics, create. And then we're going to come into here. And I could create, you know what? I'm feeling in a test-driven development mode, which is information tests. We want to create a case where create when, I don't like the way I wrote it and say apply. Oh, the apply method itself. Okay, that's fine. I get what I'm saying. It took me a second to realize what I was doing. Create when target has ref parameters. God. Early morning coughing has out parameters. Create when target has in parameters, because that's not going to be allowed. In parameters. And then create when target has ref struct parameters being partially applied. Okay. So those are the cases that we want to have, and we want to have some good old diagnostics. So what are we going to say here? We're going to say add by ref. We really don't care. We really don't care. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And so we want to say here, actually, we're going to do this just because of reasons. That's fine. Okay. But now we want to see a diagnostic. What do we want to call this? We want to call this unsupported parameter modifiers. Sure. That works. Unsupported supported parameter modifiers. Okay. Do this little dance. And the target method cannot have ref out or in parameter. Ref out or in parameter modifiers. Unsupported parameter modifiers. And I might change this, the node here to be a specific type and having it to be an argument syntax node or whatever it is, because I want it to be right on that argument, because if I find multiple of them, then I want to have multiple ones, because you say, hey, you can't, although that would be kind of annoying. I think as long as I find one, that's good enough. So I might just leave that as a syntax node. Okay. So let's get all these done here. So this is going to be, Oh, wait, I need to have, did it catch it? No, it did not. It did not. So what was this? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6. Okay. What I was babbling about there is that you can't have the same identifier for multiple diagnostics, but those are in analyzers. They don't catch that here in source generators. So that's interesting. Okay, and then here we want to have something like using system where we have contains span of int a and then int b. So we want to have math.contains and we want to apply an a. Well, what we want to have is a yeah, we need to be, we can't, yeah, hold on, var buffer is equal to new span of int new 3. There. And now we pass in buffer. That cannot hold. And then we would do something like a contains b. Because that's okay. You just can't do that here. Okay. So what we want is unsupported parameter modifier document here, here, and here, and cannot partially apply ref struct. Why not? Cannot support, cannot partially apply ref struct. And that'd be PA7. Let's come down here, do that, 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 whoa, that, 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 that. Cannot partially apply parameters that are ref struct types, such as span of t. Or just say example, yeah. EG. Is it EG? I think it is. Example span. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Okay. And then that would be ref struct parameters. It would be this. Okay. Now if I run these tests, I think I'll get 4 errors because we don't check for this yet, and so it's just going to go, well, these seem valid to me, and I'm going to let it go. Okay. And then we just need to put the checks in there to say, well, no, you can't. You gotta flag these because they are not allowed. 4 failed. Okay, so it's doing the right thing. So now we come back in here and we say validate. Else. This is going to be, yeah. We want to not do a for each because we want the count as well. For var I is equal to 0, I is less than delegate symbol parameters dot length I plus plus. Var delegate parameter is equal to if. Now I think I custom modifier. Okay, I'm going to load the good old rocks because I know I figured this out somewhere. There was a ref kind or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. It's equal to ref kind ref or delegate parameter dot ref kind is equal to ref kind dot out, or equal to ref kind dot in. Now in this case we have to do a different diagnostic. We want to do that one. Else if. Now we should know at this point we don't. You suck. Oh, wait a minute. We should though, right? We don't. When do we figure out how many arguments count? Okay, so that's... yes. I knew we were figuring it out somewhere. Okay. So we want to say that this is partial argument count. Well, thank you. That's exactly what I was wanting you to do. Okay. So now so you could do the delegate symbol itself. Let's say we just wanted to apply 1. Else if I is less than partial argument count. And there we go. Now we have to do the is esoteric. Is ref-like type. Delegate parameter type is ref-like type. And then we just do this, which is that. No. There we go. Oh, for God's sakes. And there we go. Okay, now you should be fine. Okay, now let's go back to the tests. No. Let's go back to the tests and run all these. And now what the hope would be is that we get 0. But of course, we have to make sure that we named everything right. I should have just done an F2 there, but I wasn't thinking. So, do we get what we expect to get? If not, we still get 4 failed. Well, you know, we're at time, so I'm going to have to do another episode and figure out the mystery of why this isn't working. But then once I do that, then I'm going to do the other one, which is actually creating the delegates for those special cases. And then I can close the book on those 2 issues and then move to the open generics and optional arguments. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.